Hi everybody, Jason the Vein Guy here. Today we're going to be talking about phlebectomy hooks. We're going to talk about some of the important features that are found on these instruments, the ones that we use, and why we chose them. So stay tuned. I have two different size and style hooks. I am actually a fan of the Verady style hooks, which are these two right here. This is the smaller one, obviously. There's a couple of differences between these. We're going to talk about the tips for a moment. First of all, this tip is sort of a shepherd's hook, and if you see the little ball on the end, it's good for reaching in and pulling without damaging any of the tissue. The back end of all of these are generally flat and small. This one is actually 16 gauge, so it goes through a 16 or an 18 gauge puncture hole. And we use this to feel for the rubberiness of the vein and also to kind of break up any of the tissue. So this particular one is made by a German company, I believe. And you'll notice it has these little ridges on here that are grips. And these ridges are relatively small. And with my size hand, which I have a pretty large hand, this is not a great size for me. It's very small. It's not exactly cumbersome, but it's not a great size. And once you start using anesthesia and you start getting into getting this wet, it's kind of slippery. It doesn't really hold that well. I'm going to compare that with the handle of this one. And you'll notice this has a much more aggressive grip style. And this aggressive grip style, along with the flat part right here, which allows me to orient the hook without having to look. So when the hook is inside, I can flip it around so that I know that it's oriented based on this flat part. This flat part also gives me a little something to grip a hold of in case I do need to use any type of pressure. I've got a nice spot right here to be able to hold on to. So this is octagonal, so there's no way to tell to orient the hook. So if this is inside the patient, the only way to tell how to orient the hook is from back here. But when you're holding this hook, if your eyes are focused down here, you don't want to have to look over here and go, okay, well that's pointing up, so I must be pointing down, and that's pointing down, so my tip must be pointing up. As far as the weight, there's a lot of talk of the titanium hooks coming out. They're a little more blue in color, and we'll be doing a review on steel versus titanium in a future video. Now let's talk about tips. There are other tips other than the Verady style hook. There are Mueller, Kabnik, various others, and we won't go into those in this video. But I have seen people use hooks other than the Verady style and do Rockstar phlebectomies, so I know that they work. I choose the Veradys because they're simple and there's only two of them, a large and a small, and it just simplifies things. I want to caution against buying too many hooks. We generally have two of each hook in our kit, and we don't have a whole bunch of styles. Especially when starting phlebectomies, it's not a good idea to have an assortment of hooks. I've seen people struggle with the learning curve of performing phlebectomies, so I recommend getting two style hooks, mastering those before you try other hooks. The Verady are a great way to start, and if you watch other videos on YouTube, you'll see that the Verady hook is really the most popular hook on the market. I want to offer another word of caution. These instruments are very easy to lose. For that reason, we keep our kits very simple. We have 12 instruments, 2 large Verady, 2 small Verady, 3 curved medium hemostats, 3 straight medium hemostats, a small scissor, and a small forcep. This is enough instruments for 2 people to do phlebectomies simultaneously. And also, in case you drop one, you have a spare. So where do you find phlebectomy hooks? We get ours from Wagner Medical. There's a link in the description down below. I'm not affiliated with Wagner Medical. I just really like their hooks. They have all of the styles that we've talked about in this video, as well as several others. They also carry the various instruments, vein lights, and some other vein-related materials, so I highly recommend that you check them out. Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks again for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button or comment down below. Also, please consider subscribing to our channel, and if you want to be notified of our future videos, hit that bell icon. In our next video, we're going to be talking about how to prevent hand fatigue when using a tumescent syringe. But stay tuned, because we also have some great content coming up later on this month on things like compression hose and venous duplex. So stay tuned. This is Jason the Vein Guy, and I'm reminding you to do something good for your legs today.